Good day, everybody. Have you ever reached a point in your life where everything that you thought that you knew just stops working? Old ways of navigating life and processing life and making decisions, they just don't seem to work anymore. And you find yourself wondering, what now? Well, my life is currently in that place of asking, what now? But thankfully, there is ancient texts that gives us the equation to solve this very problem. Welcome to All Is Within. My name is Michael, and if you've been feeling lost, overwhelmed, unsure of what to do next, you're definitely in the right place. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, you may be aware that I consciously decided to leave the 9-to-5 job that I had worked for 30 plus years back in October of 2025. And since then, it's been a bit of a ride as I try to determine how now do I navigate life with a different outlook, with a different paradigm. How do I operate? You see, I used to love the work that I did as a business or systems analyst in the IT area, but as the years progressed, the methodologies changed, lots of things changed. It became way more data driven. And I found myself continually drained, exhausted, never feeling fulfilled. And things were continually changing so much that we would create a lot of things just to have those things discarded. So it became very unfulfilling for me to continue doing that work. And so I made a conscious decision to exit, to take a sabbatical, if you will. And once I did, that's really when the real fun began, right? Because as time went on, the longer I was without work, the voices within me started getting louder and louder, the different parts of self speaking up, going, What? What have you done? Like, how are we going to survive? And you see, I knew I could trust God. I knew I could trust life. I knew I could trust myself. I knew that this decision was the decision that was calling me at this time. But it still didn't give me the answers on how exactly to move forward, per se, or what to do when I was feeling this discomfort, feeling like maybe I should just go back. And then one day, I remembered some ancient words of wisdom. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to write that on the board. All right? But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. And I promise this is not going to get preachy. So don't let this trigger you or activate anything in you. If it does, just remain calm. Just remain where we're at here. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. That comes from Matthew 6:33, in case you want the reference for that. All right? So this is part of the ancient text that we're talking about. When I left my 9-to-5 job, it was a conscious decision. But I've also had experiences in life where I didn't necessarily make a conscious decision. But because of the way I was living my life, life eventually just reached a point where everything it was built on, the structure it was built on, couldn't hold anymore. It collapsed, it imploded around me. And in either situation, the path ahead, the direction to go can be overwhelming. And sometimes the only thing that we do know is that we can't go back to more of the same. We've already been down that path. When we find ourselves in the in-between, we find ourselves in the void. We find ourselves in a place of what once was, but no longer can be. And the place that does not yet exist, at least visibly to us. So we find ourselves in this uncomfortable space of the in-between. As a previous mentor put it, we find ourselves in a place where gravity is fierce, right? We know we can't go back to this anymore, but we're not quite sure how to go forward either. And that gravity from the old, because it's familiar, because it's known, it is fierce. His saying was, gravity is fierce, and meaning it will pull you back. So what do we do when we find ourselves in this in-between? We return to this universal law. You don't have to look at this as a Bible verse. I used to hate the Bible, right? I actually have a speaking video that I'll put out at some point about my love-hate relationship with the Bible. I started off with a very love relationship with it. Then as life went on, it began to be a very hate relationship with it. And now I've begun to see it again in a whole new way, that it does contain immeasurable amounts of truth. But a lot of it is veiled, right? So seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you, right? So let's look at this universal law in a different way, because it is really profound. It is actually an equation for us, telling us a specific way to live. And it becomes this. Let me change colors here. Number one, for lack of something better here, seek first, right? What are we going to seek? We're going to seek the kingdom of God and his righteousness. So we're going to add these two things together, right? And then look at what happens here. The end result of doing these things gives us this outcome. And let's just put an arrow on that as well. We're going to seek first. We're going to seek the kingdom of God and his righteousness. And by doing so, the end result of this is that all these things shall be added unto you. Now we're going to go through a 3-part series here, and we're going to break this down. And I'm going to show you exactly how to apply this into your life. And the first thing I want to say about this is, how perfect is this, right? The beautiful thing is, it's not transactional. It's not saying, do this if you're a good boy and a good girl. If you follow the rules, then, well, I'll give you a reward. No, the equation is prescriptive. It's already there. The medicine is already there waiting for you. It says, here's how the path works. It's already set up for you. The promise is already there. This is what you need to do. But what most of us don't know is we don't fully understand what this means. So let's start at the beginning of the equation. Let's start with part 1 here. Seek first, right? Let's look at the word seek. What do you do when you seek something? You direct your attention to wherever you are seeking. And what we've been taught is that when we seek something, when we are looking for something, it means to look out there, right? That's what most of us do. The song, looking for love in all the wrong places. And maybe it's not love you're looking for. But generally, when we seek, we look out there. We look for it in the job, in the career, in the person, in a relationship. We look for it in money. There's a plethora of things. We look to the future, right? Or we look to God. But many of us, like myself, were taught that God is actually out there, that God is separate from us, as though we are at the mercy, hoping that God will hear us and respond to what we are seeking and what we are asking. And yet God says, what does the Bible say? Another great text from the Bible. Ask and it shall be given. So what seek actually means, notice if you're looking for something, if you've lost something, right? You have to go seek it. You have to go find it, right? So what do? You take your attention and you put it on that thing, whatever it is, and you begin looking. Where your attention goes, energy flows. So to seek means the conscious direction of your attention, the intentional placement of your awareness. Seeking is a choice, and it's also an action. It's active. By seeking, it returns you to your power, regardless of what's going on in life. It allows you, instead of having your attention focused on the problem, and this is what we're going to get into on part 2 as well, a little bit, as long as you know where to seek, it helps you direct your attention not on the problem itself, but rather on the possibilities and on the solutions and on the opportunity. So where is my attention going? Is my attention the seek part? Is it focused on the problem? Is it focused on the discomfort, the confusion? Or is it intentionally focused where it needs to be focused? Again, we're going to get to that where in part 2. Choosing where we seek, choosing where we place our attention and our energy, rather than just having it run by default on the programming and conditioning that is built within us. Choosing where we seek gives us back our power, our freedom, our authority, our sovereignty. And we can say, I know that I have the power to seek. Now we must understand, where do we seek? Where do we look? See, what we are taught is that seek ye first the kingdom of God. And what we are taught, what many of us are taught, I was taught this, right? Is that the kingdom of God is out there in some far off place that we can't reach. But what if that's not exactly true? And what if the kingdom of God is closer than you think? In part 2, we're going to break down exactly what is meant by the kingdom of God and exactly what is meant by and his righteousness. And no, just as a precursor, it doesn't have anything to do, just because these are written in male verbiage, doesn't have anything to do with that. All right? Once you understand this piece of it, this A and B piece of it here, and where you are supposed to seek, everything will begin to shift for you. So if you feel disoriented, confused, frustrated, maybe you're at a hopeless point in your life right now, remember to ask this simple question. Where is your energy going? Is it feeding and focused on the problem itself, or is it being consciously directed to something greater, something that promises there's a solution? If you like this video, please take a moment to hit the like button and or leave a comment. And please, I would love it if you take a moment to subscribe as well. That way you will be notified when I put part 2 out and we really get into the meat of what this ancient text is talking about. This really is a hidden equation for our life if we simply know how to use it. And as always, blessings and love to each of you.